Okay,
Okay.
you can start. Yeah, you can maybe go back to the title.
Yeah, okay, sorry. This paper is called Program Synthesis with Large Language Models, and it's published on Archive 21. And it is talk about program synthesis and using the large language model. So here the large is not not typically large. It's very, very huge language model like the GPT. And it was made by the Google search, and they said they denote equal contribution. And yeah, and I only check the first other and the second other. And the first other is coming from the Columbia University in New York. And he is most focused on the AI research on the program synthesis and the generative modeling. And the second other is also a computer scientist working on the machine learning. And he has a lot of research on generative adversary networks. So that's the others. And oh, sorry, maybe it's okay, sorry. This is the benchmark. This paper only gave us 2 benchmark, and there's no new model. And they just build 2 new data sets and do some analysis experiment on this on a large language model. It's maybe not quite useful for us because it's quite hard for us to train a large language model nowadays. Okay, so typically they introduce 2 benchmarks. The first is mostly basic programming programs, and it contains almost 100 programming tasks, and they are all very entry-level program, and solved by also the entry-level programmers. And I will give you a example here, and you can see this is a bit very interesting and a very simple code. Just it also give you some some example to check whether your code is right or not. And this is the first data set. And the second data set is math question answering Python data set. It is a Python version of math question answering benchmark. And it contains 23,900 problems. And here is an example. Here is an example. And you can see this. This is math question, and they want the model to write the code, generate the code, like to solve the question. So they just put forward 2 data sets, and their model is just the transformer, and they are quite large language model, and she uses huge huge parameters and pre-trained on huge data set. This B means billion, so this is trained on very huge data set.
So here the transformer, and so I just wondered how many of you are familiar with GPT-3, right? So this is a model used GPT-3 or just a normal transformer they trained by themselves?
I think they're based on the GPT-3.
So they can have the access of a GPT-3 transformer.
Yeah, I think so. And the basic architecture is just a transformer. They didn't talk very details, but from my reading, they said they copy the idea from the GPT-3. So I think they may be based on the GPT-3 to train the model.
Okay, yeah. So maybe I can just briefly say that the GPT-3 is actually a model published by DeepMind, right? or Google.
Yeah.
Basically DeepMind. So they pre-train a transformer for a large number of the natural language programming tasks, natural language processing tasks. And here, the task is actually we want to, given a description, and we want to synthesize the code satisfying the description, right? So it's more like it's a little bit different from the traditional program synthesis. And for traditional program synthesis, the programmers or the input will just set up the test cases or just a set of assertions. And we want to, or the researchers will design an approach to synthesize a program which can pass all the assertions or test cases. And here, the researchers would like to have one step forward. They would like to say that they were given a description like a math question or some programming tasks. So based on these programming tasks, they also would like to using the deep neural network model or basically the transformer to synthesize a piece of code which is satisfying the natural language description. And here, giving the GPT-3 transformer, which has been already considered to be very powerful in a lot of pre-trained tasks. So they're going to reuse the pre-trained model. And yeah, so the point is that they're using a transformer structure and they prepare a lot of data to retrain the transform model to have a pre-trained model, right?
Yeah. I just searched that GPT-3 is generated by the OpenAI, not DeepMind. DeepMind is actually now is by that Google buy the GPT and the DeepMind, but the GPT-3 is created by the OpenAI. It's an English British company.
Okay, let's keep it going on.
Okay, so here I will introduce a new pre-trained way. It's called prompts. Prompts actually is nowadays quite popular in natural language tasking, and prompts mean it's quite easy to understand prompt. It's just add some requirements. You can just say prompt is just like a requirements after the sentence, at the end of the sentence. For example, here in this picture, you can see the first is that the code, only if you have only code input, and the code may be considered the following Python function, blah, blah, blah. And this code here, this part, let me use this. Okay, so for this part is actually a prompt. That means this is the information that we want model to generate. And for code plus natural language and examples input, and this prompt will be like descriptions or the some examples from asserts that I show you like these examples. So the prompts actually just change a bit about the math language model. He now masks the some requirements. He now masks some requirement sentence or requirements words, and they want the model to generate these requirements. So this idea is follow the mask language model, but now we are just not randomly mask, but mask some requirement word or requirement sentence. That's the idea of prompts, and it will quite easy to go to the downstream task because nowadays you just add your label at the end of the sentence, and you just add these prompts like fill in the blank, fill in the what, and this is actually the prompts. So this will be a task. Could you get my idea? This is what I pre-trained, and after the pre-train, I will add prompts like a requirements. You need to fill in the blank, or you need to give me the main idea of the sentence. This is just a requirement or demand. It's just a demand, and then the model will generate the following sentence. So this is a very popular way to.
So maybe I can clarify that. Maybe I can help clarify your point. So given a normal descriptions or giving a normal languages, we train the embeddings by masking certain words. But in this case, we will not mask the any arbitrary random words. In this case, given a specific kind of text, some text can be labeled as the prompts, right? And these prompts is something what we're really interested in. For example, the description or the code are a placeholder, and this placeholder can be anything, right? But the code here can be any code, and the description there can be any description, right? So
Yeah.
in this case, we would like to mask only the kind of the prompt. That is, we only mask the description, the code, and the proper assertion, etc. We only mask these texts, and we hope the model to regenerate or predict or generate this kind of description, assertion, code, which is abstracted into a term prompts.
Yeah, the intuition behind the prompt is that because the gap between the downstream task and the pre-trained task is very huge, because sometimes the downstream task is quite different from the pre-trained task. So prompts will, bridge the different task, bridge the downstream task.
Anyway, so this is how they pre-train the model. Okay, let's keep going. So how they prepare the data to pre-train the model.
Yeah.
Or this is already a training tasks.
Yeah, they are just a training tasks. This will
Okay.
also, yeah.
Okay, so their embeddings is still, now we just come to the result.
Yeah, there are no new models. They are just a typical model. And the tokenized is just the typical tokenized in the sentence piece library here.
And how do they define the vocabulary?
This sentence piece library, he uses this to tokenize the vocabulary.
Okay.
Yeah, and the model architecture is just the transformer.
Okay, let's keep going on.
Yes, but it's very large because you have many parameters.
Yeah, just feel free to ask any questions, because I think I misselected this paper. This one may not that interested.
Yeah, it's not very useful for us because we don't actually can't train such large language model.
Okay, let's pause this one. Okay.
Yes, their performance mostly depends on the model size. So if you have a large language model, you have millions of parameters. The results will be better.
And also that's why this research comes from Google, because only Google has such a financial support to train such a large model.
Yeah,
right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they also test on the few shot. Few shot means you only use few samples to train the model, to fine tune the model. Don't use the whole data set to fine tune the model. You can see, because sometimes manually labeling is quite cost expensive. So sometimes you only have a few samples. So this result also shows that if you have a large model, the few shots will also have a better result, a good result compared to with a small model. And then this also depends on the model size. He just
so basically they want to claim that once we have something huge or big, so is there generalizations and their support to train the models will have a very good effect.
Yeah, the generalization will be also better because the few shot result shows that.
Okay, let's keep going on.
Okay, so another point is that if the prompts also works very well, yeah, and if you have more prompts examples, the result will be better. So
yeah, so there the observation is that so I once watched another video which is still published by Google. So a lot of Google engineers saying that now a lot of ML researchers are focused so much on improving the model architecture. So they're saying that the loss function is not good, the embedding is not good, and the architecture is not deep enough, and we need to change this, change that. So, but the problem is that even if from the industry point of view, the model per se is enough for use. For example, if we want to classify the model, traditional CNN can just do the work, and for the transformers or the translator, and the transformer just did a good job. But what really matters, so the marginal benefits to increase a new model architecture is very small. But what really matters is the quality of the data set. So here in this table, we can see that if we do not randomly or an arbitrary, if we do not randomly mask an arbitrary website, not a website, a word or a token for pre-training, but we deliberately spend some time to label the most important tokens to be masked. And from my point of view, prompt, it is just a special label on a certain description, a certain portion of description, certain component, right? So as long as we label which components is more important than the others, and the model can have a better performance.
Yeah, almost that.
Okay, let's keep going on.
Okay, so he also lists some examples that the model has highest performing problems is for single operation and common coding interview type questions. But for some, multiple sub problem or multiple constraints, it will not get a good result. And also, for example, here, maybe we can give you an example. For example, here, you will you want the task is write the task is to write a Python function to find the largest number that can be formed with the given list digits. So it's not just to get the largest number, but formed with the given list digits. However, the model always just generates the largest number among the list of digits. So this means sometimes if you change the requirement a little bit, the model can't figure them out.
Somehow it's robust, but the point that the model does not have the concept of what is a number can be formed by the digits, right?
Yeah.
So he does not understand a turn up can be formed. So you can think about it. You put this sentence to some very junior children, for some children, when the children only learn what is the number, last number in the list of digits, even for human beings, they will just change the questions to something irrelevant, something similar, but irrelevant, right? This is basically what a human brain can do that.
Yes. Yeah, but they didn't give a solution. They just point out some problems.
Okay, let's keep going on.
Okay, and another interesting part is that he built a human model collaboration. So he asked some, some people to interact with the machine, interact with the model, and in a in a dialogue way here. And for example, we can see this example. The human first provide a description is just the task, and then the model will generate some code. But from human eyes, he will correct some problems in the code, and then it will finally generate the correct code. So Google thinks that the model maybe can help programmers or software engineers to build the code. Yeah, and here is the experiment result. If you have more turns and the accuracy and the solved task will be better, as will be large. So there will be more and more tasks can be solved if our human interact with the model. This may be a better in concrete part for Google want to do.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think that's all. That's all the
Okay,
paper.
okay. So maybe I will, I will be more selective for the paper presentations in next week. Yeah, so with the larger models, it is just more like a magic. But the problem is that we still does not know why the model will make such predictions and what is the reasons model will predict this or generate this, the or synthesize the code. In addition, I think human interaction is also very important directions and how to synthesize the code with the help of the human interaction. So basically, if we want to synthesize a piece of code, we must have a reason, right? So, so the description can be considered as a kind of a specification, but sometimes the description is not so detailed or so refined, or in this case, we still have enough, we still, the programs may not have enough to synthesize what the human really want. For example, I say that Yufan, can you write a piece of code for me to ranking, right? So I just gave a very brief description. So you, from a human perspective, you would say that to ranking what kind of thing do you want to rank? I see that I want to rank the students. So if you when writing the students, the ranking code of the students, you will still say under what criteria, right? So what is your ranking? What is standard for you to rank the students? So basically this interaction is basically it's more like the interaction between the code synthesis. If the code synthesizer would like to generate a code which is usable and program friendly, you still need to gradually interact with the students, or sorry, to interact with the programmers so that he can extract the most important information to synthesize the satisfying code.
Yeah, and Google also put forward some rules to how to collaborate with the machine. But I think this is more for programmers.
Yeah, I think that's more towards the HCI, so the human computer interaction. So that is very important. So the HCI is very important in this aspect. That is when we want to extract some knowledge from the programmers, how to design a system which in a in a non-intrusive way while extracting the knowledge. You understand? So in this case, how to make such a system possible, right? So maybe we can give the programmers more. Maybe we can analyze in the program's writing behaviors, and maybe we can tracking their eyes, or sometimes we may also prompt certain questions for programmers to confirm. So whatever the tools or techniques there, they would like to extract as much information from the programmers in a non-intrusive way.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay, that's all for my presentation.
Okay, is there any questions for Yufan's presentation? Feel free to ask anything. Okay, if there's no questions, let's move on to the web testing tutorial. In this case, Yijie will be the one responsible for the main ideas. Maybe Junbo will show some demonstration.
Hi, Yijie, could you please present? Show the screen.
Oh, okay. Okay, so hi everyone. So today we'll be presenting on web testing tools.
Hey, hello, Yijie. Your voice is a bit light.
Oh,
Yeah, could you please volume up a bit? Thanks. Or maybe move closer to your microphone.
is it better now?
No difference. Never mind. Maybe we just volume up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Junbo and I will be presenting on web testing. Yeah, so basically I will just go through some basic ideas and Junbo will show a demo at the end. Okay, so firstly, we'll look at the history of web vulnerabilities, and this is the OWASP top 10 number one for these years. And you can see that in 2003 and 2004, the first vulnerability, the the most common vulnerability was unvalidated input. And afterwards in 2007, the unvalidated input was actually phased out because we can see that validating inputs can prevent a lot of other attacks also. So it was included into all the other vulnerabilities instead. And then in 2007, the most common vulnerability was cross-site scripting. And afterwards, 2010, 2013, and 2017, the most common vulnerability was injection, which includes different kinds of injections, which can be like SQL and others. Yes. So does anyone want to guess what is the most common vulnerability for 2021?
Yeah, anyone would like to have a guess? If not, you can just try to point out one audience. Is there any selections or options for people to choose?
Okay, so I can give a few options, but I don't have it on the slides. Yeah, so one moment. Okay, so a few options are injection, authentication errors, and broken access control.
So let me repeat. So the options are injections, the injections,
Authentication failures,
authentication failures,
and
the
broken access control.
Broken access control. Yeah. So 3 to choose one. Anyone would like to have a try? Changshen, do you want to have a try? Hello, Changshen, are you still there?
Yeah. I'm looking at it.
Yeah, I can repeat the
Yes,
option.
I have no idea.
The injections, it is injections, the authentication failure, and the broken access control.
This injection is the same idea as the like circle injections.
Yes.
Injection.
Yeah, injection you can consider the SQL injection.
So yeah, maybe somebody else have a try.
You don't want to be wrong, right?
I think nobody can get it right because when I look at the result, it surprised me as well. I start to do the cybersecurity and penetration test in 2015, which is something between 30 and 70. So when I look back, it's injection for like almost 5 years. Then when I look forward, the 2071 comes out that it says is injection as well. But this year, just released in 24 September, it says actually it's broken access control. But if you think about it carefully, I mean, it makes sense. Why? Because injection has been like has dominated for the past 10 years. So people are focusing on this area. Then that's why this year this is not the top. This is not the rank 1. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, this one moved to the rank 3, and also it combined the cross-site scripting and SQL injection together, and the name is the injection.
By the way, what is the ranking of the XSS? Is rank 2?
Number 2. Oh, I forget. Let me see.
Number 2 this year is cryptographic failures.
Cryptographic failures.
Oh yeah. That is about the centralization, something like that. And for example, you transfer your password in plain text, these kind of things. There's no making use of weak cipher soup. Yeah, all these are the cryptographic failure. Yeah.
Okay, I get it. Let's keep going on.
Okay.
Okay, so moving on, I'll share about like the cycle of a penetration testing. So basically what's penetration testing is that it is to test for vulnerabilities in your web application, and specifically in web applications for this presentation, to see if there is any loopholes that an attacker can potentially exploit, and also to come up with solutions to fix the loopholes. So basically, this is summarized in 5 stages. Firstly, planning and reconnaissance, which is to consider the define the goals for the for penetration tests, and also to gather information about the web application. And then second stage is scanning, which is to use scanning tools, for example, dynamic analysis, to analyze what state the web application is in after you perform a certain action. And thirdly is gaining access. So basically, for example, using common CVEs, they'll try to attack the web application to see if they can, for example, perform an SQL injection and get access to an admin account or something, or like list out all the passwords or something. Yeah. And then fourth is maintaining access. So after they have gained access in stage 3, they will try to maintain their access in the web app. And lastly, they'll collate all the results of the penetration testing, and then give some suggestions for what configurations need to be fixed to prevent these attacks in the future. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, can you go back a bit? So this is for penetration test, right? This is usually in real life when my vendor give me a project. So basically, they will help me to set up the environment. So when I go in, I know what I need to test, and the intelligence is gathered. That intelligence here means the background knowledge of the application. So this is quite good because they have prepared everything for me. But in a real life hacking process, hacking means that nobody is preparing anything for you. So in this stage, it will be more complicated. Yeah, you need to, maybe you even need to like go to a hospital, you need to find a port, then plug in the port, then you can start with testing. Okay, then in the end, usually the end goal is to find the vulnerabilities. Sometimes it's about application, sometimes it's about the configuration of the WAF. So you see here, the last step is to the results used to configure WAF settings before testing is run again. So you run the test again in order to make sure the vulnerabilities you find have been like fixed or not. Yeah, and then this is the cycle for penetration test. It's quite similar to hacking, but hacking you need to pay more attention and do more effort. Yeah. You can continue.
So penetration testing can be grouped into 3 types, which is black box, white box, and gray box. So black box is that the tester has no knowledge of the web application, of how the web application works internally. And like, for example, he has no knowledge of like the internal architecture of the server and things like that. So it will simulate a real hacker who has no knowledge to try to hack break through the web app. Yeah, and then for white box, it's the tester has full information, and the attack is targeted on specific components of the web app. And for gray box, it's a mix of white and black box. So the tester has partial information. For example, they have the structure of the networks of the web app, or like the architecture. Yeah.
Here, the white box having full information. It includes both the admin username and password.
And also the topology of your network structure, what kind of system you are using, their versions, this kind of information. So
by the way, so when we have all this information, and what is the testing goals to verify or validate whether some users can break their access control?
Usually it really depends on the testing goals. For example, if you just want to test how good your application is, of course, I will provide you everything, including the login information and also the application information. Then mainly you will only checking those kind of SQL injection code flows. Yeah, but if you want the hacker to test, hey, how robust your network infrastructure it is, so you will only do a gray box testing or a black box testing. We just let the guy go in, then see how far you can go. Yeah.
Okay. So for today's session, it's more towards black, white, or gray.
For today's is more towards to gray. Yeah. I was saying not even gray lah, but yeah, partially of gray, because if you look back to that stages of 5 stages, yeah, this one. So actually, there's some step was missing in my demonstration. Later, I will ask this question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's also a term called red teaming. So basically a group of pen testers will come together and try to hack into the web application. Yeah.
Yeah, this is more realistic scenario. So red teaming, I think nowadays become very popular. This is more than just do a penetration test. When I was doing penetration test, right, my client has set up the environment for me. So I just go in and check how robust their application is. But for red teaming, right, they will talk to their boss. They will talk to their boss and say, hey, we are going to have a red teaming project, while the rest of the stuff they never know. So you just go to, maybe the client is a hospital, then you just go to hospital. Maybe you try to connect to their Wi-Fi, and from you take Wi-Fi as a jump point, then you go deeper and deeper, or you can just like make use of a cable. You know, some of the buildings usually they have free network cables there, and a lot of people cannot find it, but yeah, if you keep on focusing, you put more attention, you can find it, and you can just plug. Yeah, so this kind of vulnerability is more than just those like code bugs and exploits. Those kind of physical, maybe you can trick their security guy, say, hey, I was the maintenance guy, please let me go in. This one also including as red teaming. This is very fun. Yeah, I used to work with the a company, I cannot say the name. Then we catch we use a Wireshark to catch the password of their management. Then later we send the password hashes to Hong Kong team, because it requires a lot of like calculation power. Then later we get a password. Then we use the password to log in. Then we managed to see all the payroll information of their company. Like, yeah, this is about red teaming.
So it's more like a phishing, right?
Not
So
more than
you get, yeah, I understand more than that. It's more like you get some partial information, partial authentic information, just more like a scan phone, right? So in China, there's a lot of I don't know whether you learn about it. In China, there's a scanner, and who will make a phone call to the older people and claim that they have their identity information, they have their address, they have their and more relevant information. So given all these authentic information, it's the victims supposed to be cheated. Then they ask them to provide additional information like bank account, etc., so that they can doing something have more consequential effect. Okay.
Yes. Actually, these things also happen in Singapore, right? I believe 100% of us receive a call from DHL delivery or Ministry of Health. Anyone?
I forgot it. I forgot it. Maybe I have something. I received something similar.
It's like they ask you to press 3 to transfer the call to their agent stuff, something like that.
Yeah, so it's more like the text, more like, anyway, the human is the most vulnerable component of the whole systems. If we can compromise the account and the password from the victims, then everything will be go through. Okay, let's keep going on.
Okay.
Okay, so that's all for the basic information. So Junbo will do the demo.
Okay. So today I'm going to show you, I believe all of us here like never do hacking before, right? So I'm going to show you something quite interesting. Yijie, let me share the screen. Yep. Okay. Should be this one. Okay, so the first one I'm going to present is about the antenna blue. This is a very famous one, and it's about buffer overflow, and all the Windows version, Windows 7 SP1 before that will be will be affected to this. And how simple it is, let me show you. Okay, so firstly, let me introduce this. This is a help box. Then I have the yearly VIP subscription, so I can access all these machines. Then blue is one of them. Then of course, from name it is like very obviously it is
A vulnerable server.
it's a vulnerable to blue server. But how do we know this? So actually, I have prepared the things. CD should be document. Yeah, this one is better. So usually what we will do port scanning. So Nmap, usually we use Nmap. Yeah, something like this. This is another one. Never mind. So I have already prepared the scan result. Nmap blue. Not Nmap. So from here you can see this. We can see the OS version is Windows 7 Professional and Service Pack 1. So for me, I was experienced, so I know this is vulnerable to external blue. But if not, you can use some special command like nmap. Let's see. This is the command I usually use. Each of the words here, O, A, S, have a lot of meaning. So if you're interested, you can find out. So this is the script I use. I save the output as blue val. Then I use the script to test it. So because scanning takes some time, so I also prepare the result for you. Blue val and map. So from here, it helps you to test several things, and the host is then also to tell you like the host is vulnerable to this node. Not really, but for this one, yes, it is vulnerable. So simply, so what next? So now you know the machine is vulnerable to this exploit. It's quite straightforward. You can just find a script, search exploit, and search for the keyword. The system I'm using this version is a Kali Linux. It's a special design Linux release for hacking. Yeah. So it's MS17-101. I'll make it a slightly longer. Okay. So boom, we have so many results. And by right, this one, you can just download the script and run against the host. The host IP here is 10.10.10.14. So by right like this, you can just run it.
Oh, by the way, so this is a virtual machine?
This is a virtual machine, yeah. Okay.
So that means once you copy and paste the virtual machines, we can replicate the process.
Replicate the process.
So that means that is so the virtual machine is on your server, right?
Virtual machine is on my server.
On your desktop or laptop, whatever.
Yeah.
So as long as we copy and paste the virtual machines, we can have this. We can play with the scenarios as well.
No, not really. You need to pay. Actually, at this one, I connect to the VPN already. So I connect to their server already.
Oh, I got it. You're using VPN, so you are inside their network.
Yeah. And this is the control panel you could see. So I have connect to this machine already because I'm VIP, so I can connect. Yeah, that's how they do the control. If anyone interested, I can lend the account to you.
Oh, no worries. So that's okay. So we can have some brief overviews about the security issues. Okay.
So I will make use of a tool called MS Console. This is not something very complicated. This will make your life even easier because it's more straightforward. This is a framework designed by the offensive security. So now I need to search exploit is MS 17-010 17 fine. I forget the command a bit. Oh yeah, should be search only. So from here I have all these. So make sure you find the right one. If you don't know, you just try them out one by one. Then from here you can see this is for Windows 8. The first one looks good, so I will make use of this one. So I will just use this one. This is a tool. I'm using the tool because by right you should only use the script, but this tool have embed all the script inside.
Don't you need to specify the IP address?
So now I'm going to do it. Show options. Okay. So here I can set those options. Most of them you don't need to care about. The most important is the L host and R host. So the R host is the remote host. Now I know my target is this one, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 14. Okay. Oh, sorry, it should be set. Usually I didn't use this tool. So the left host is the local host. So I need to find my so it knows like how to connect back. So it should be something like this. It should be this one. This is my tunnel 0. Okay, is the one VPN connect to. Okay, 10, 10, 10, 14, 17. So it's set host 10, 10, 14, 7. Okay, but now I just need to exploit. And the tool will do the work for you. It says everything is okay. It was checking, it's vulnerable. So it was sending, this is about the buffer overflow. Then that is another very, very trimmy jobs. Okay, now it's like sending, now I'm in already. So what I should do, I can simply do a shell. Then I'm inside already, host name. This is the name, yeah, ID. Who am I? Yeah. So I was a system. I already get into the system and I have the system access, which is the NUS. Yeah. So this is for Blue. It's quite straightforward. As long as you can connect, you have a network connect to that machine, and that machine is vulnerable to external Blue, then you can just go in without anything. It's just as simple as this. Yeah. Okay. Now I show you another one. This one is based on the exploit. Yeah. So a lot of people have done this already. So I will show you another one. The second one will be more interesting. Okay, so retire machine. Those machines are retired already. So only VIP access can access them. So the second one I'm doing is write up. This is more realistic, and this is quite like what I'm doing in my daily job. So exit. Here, cd write up. So this machine a little bit slow. Yeah, you know, when I was like taking exam, doing practicing, I will like try to hack each of this machine daily, but now I'm too busy. I didn't play with it too long. So the account is free, even I paid it for the whole year. So anyone is interested, I can lend an account to you. So this is 10, 10, 10, 1, 1, 1, 1, 3, 8. So is let me ping first if I was connected. Okay.
Not accessible.
Yeah, so far not yet. So it might take a while. Okay.
Yeah, so basically that's just, so what Junbo shares interests me. Despite I would like Junbo to share some web testing. So Yijie and Junbo, you're preparing some on penetration testing, right? And basically it's not a penetration testing. You have already on a vulnerable server to try to use some tools hacking to the server.
Yes, actually.
So basically there's a demonstration for hacking.
It's a bit weird. So this kind of, oh yeah, it's connected already. So this kind of things always happen. You will have that kind of problem. And when I was preparing for this, I have a lot of problems, which is very headache. Some of them I do too because of system upgrade. Like now I have Python and Python 3. So usually Python 3 is not compatible with Python. But the script, nowadays everybody's using Python 3, but all these scripts are like 2015, 2014, all these are Python script. Yeah, so it's a bit old. Document Blue, no, now I'm right, yeah. Oh, CD write up, okay. So I have all this set up already. So usually I will just do a map. But now because I know the solution already, so I do an easy one. What I usually would do when it was scanning, I will also try to see if this is, oh, okay, yeah, see, it will tell you like port 22 is open, port port 18 is open. So this is a web server. So I will do 10, 10, 10, 138. Okay, now here is like, okay, a little bit small, but this one it says, okay, this is on the construction, something like that. Maybe I should, I use another script. It's like this. You put more options here, it will give you more information. So just now I do one like this. Then if I see the result, this one will take longer. So I have prepared the result already. Is the yeah. So it tells you like port 22 is open. This is the SH key. Then port 18 is open. It has a robot file. That robot file they have one disk cloud control. The purpose of the robot file is to prevent the web crawling. You know, nowadays like the programmer will write a crawl to crawl the whole website. But if you put your file here, yeah, if you put your file here, which means it can prevent the
it just provides Google to crawl it, right?
Yeah.
So suppose we are hackers, we will just ignore these texts.
Yeah. But for hackers, too bad. This is very useful information. So I can just go in. Boom. This is what I see. So people will look around homepage, web path. This is a write-up, like how people exploit the machine named as web path. Blue is the one I did just now. Yeah. Okay. Then from here, what you will do? More different people have different ways. You can like intercept you can intercept the package and see the details. For me, usually I will just view the resource. So view the resource. Yeah. Then here, this is the important part. So it calls that it was using a framework called CMS made simple. The copyright is 2004 and 200190. So now I know, okay, search exploit, CMS made simple. I have so many. So the stupid way is to try them one by one. A smarter way will be, because you see the copyright is from 2019, so most likely it is from 2019. So you will do some like online research, CMS made simple. Okay, so you check all the release. That's the normal thinking, how people like doing this. I go to download overview, then it has all the releases there. Then this is from 2030. Of course, this is not. Then if you go back to the history one, you can find some version is like 2 point something. But there is also another way, because this is open source framework, so you can always find all the source files online. Then for this one, I have checked already. So this is no.
So basically, you want to find the vulnerabilities or the potential.
Yeah, people will never put the vulnerability in their source code. So now what I'm going to do is like, because now I have so many here, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the script, not script, maybe script. I get the DOS, I read through. This is very interesting. Some of these are, this is interesting file, this is interesting file, and this is interesting file. This is also interesting file. Why? This one can tell you the version. Okay, actually I just open it. So from here, it says like version, sorry, this is the latest version. Oh, okay. So from here, you know there is a DOS. DOS here is a changelog file. So it tells you the version is 2.2.16. But this is the most recent release. So I'm going to find it here. So it also, if they use the same framework, they also should have the DOS file and have the changelog of txt. Maybe I type the name wrongly. Change log, not S. And for Linux, it's case sensitive, so it should be uppercase. Change log. Okay, here, cool. So I find this is 2.2.9.1. Yeah, that's how I identify the version. This is very important for a hacker. You always, if this is using some framework, find the version. Then you can find the, you can find it. Yeah. So here I will try to match it. Cannot match. The most likely is this one. This one meet my requirement, right? So I will try to get this script. This is something built in already. The things you see here is a database, and that's how I'm going to get this out. Exploit -m. Okay, m means mirror, so I will mirror it down. Yeah, it should be this one. Copy selection. Okay. Yeah. So guys, now I have this file already. It's here. So maybe I just run it. This is because name here is about SQL injection. So by right, you should look at the file in details. But I have looked at the file. It's quite complicated. It's not a good idea to explain it. So I just run it straightforward.
What this script is for?
This script is making use of the SQL.
To exploit the SQL injection.
Yes, but he make use of the SQL injection, and he make use of the blind SQL injection, because the blind SQL injection usually is about timing. So you can, based on the timing, you can guess the password. Okay, so so I just use, yeah, this is how it looks like. So it will tell you how to use it. You need to specify URL. So you just put a -u here. It also give you some example. So this is what I'm going to exploit. So I just run it. So it starts to run. It takes some time, maybe 1 to 2 minutes. Yeah. So after we have the, so it was trying to, you see, it was running because different trial, you put in something differently because of the SQL injection, the response time is different. So based on the response, the difference of the response time, you can guess the password. Yeah. So they make use of the SQL injection then to guess the password. So now they find the sort of the password. Yeah, it's all about experience. Then they also maybe, because this is a specific framework, it's called CMS Made Simple. So they can also like find some other sensitive information. All these are from SQL. Yeah. Then next, okay. So after you have the password hash and the password sort, you can use the some like password cracking tools like Hashcat, Hydra to crack the password. Actually, I have cracked the password already because it takes so long, so I don't want you guys to wait. So the password is this. So once you have this password, right, you can try it at different places. Maybe for example, like you go to the admin here. It has an admin directory. It has an admin directory. So my idea will be like, I can go to here. I just go to the admin. It will ask for admin and the password. So you can also find the username, JKR. Then the password I have cracked. It was still like trying to crack up. Then the password cracker is the RA KJ, something like this. Okay, I will try and paste it up. Of course cannot, because this is not the right way. But as a penetration tester, you should try this. So this is one way. Like it has, because the admin side needs some logging. And there's another one is, if you look at the result, let me find a terminal. Oh, not this one. Let me find the terminal. Document. This one right up. So open terminal here. I want to. ls cat right up. Okay. If you look at here, it also has 22 open, so you can guess if I can try to log in with a password. So yeah, so this is where it comes from. The JKR is from this process. JKR is from this process. Yeah, now I have the password already. So this is the hash. This is 32-bit, so I'm very confident this is MD5, and it has a sort there. With sort and MD5, you can use the password cracker to crack the password. It takes a very long time, so I didn't show it here. So now I also know the username is JKR. Okay.
So maybe I can clarify a bit. So that maybe I raise a question. I'm not sure whether anyone can answer it. But Junbo definitely not the answer. That is, by right, we have a username and password, right? The username is stored in the plain text, but the password it's not, right? So in the database, we will just turn a hash code into, so the database in a website will just store a hash code of a password, right?
Yeah, they
So
have
in this case, if we just visit the database and get the password text, it's just a sequence of a hash. So in this case, what Junbo means that we still need to convert the hash, the hash string back to some plain text. Is that what I mean?
Yeah, correct. So this is a hashed password. But since you have the sort and the password, right? You can not 100% you can crack it because some people use a very complicated password. But for this one, it's still possible. But it takes a long time. Yeah. So later, so I have cracked it. So the password is this one, RayKJ9. So I can just now I try the front end, cannot. So as a hacker, you should always try different ways. So this is SS trace. So is I forget password again. RayKJ AY RayKJ9. That's it. Oh. This should be the correct password. Yeah, okay, so I'm in already, which means somehow I have compromised the machine. I'm inside already. Yeah. Then LS ID, who am I? I will check because I'm just a normal user. The ID is not 0, not 1. Okay, then I check. Usually what I will do next, I will also show you how to do a privilege escalation. So I will change it to the 10. I need to okay. I need to like put some files over to here. I have some tools, very common tools. All these, yep. I will set up a simple HTTP server. Python 3, HTTP server. -m is a module. This is a HTTP module. Okay, so I'm hosting a HTTP server here. So from here I can do a cur. cur. What cur? Yes. So my host name is 10.10.14.7. Now the port here is 8000. The file I want to transfer over is this lingnum message. There's no curse, so maybe try another one. Wget. Okay. Unexpected error test received. ls.
So it means that you want to get some files from your host to the server, right? You want to upload it or something there.
Yes. Connected, but packet was received.
So basically, you would like to upload some malicious files or maybe the phishing website, right?
Yeah. I want to where I'm able to establish who am I still connect. Okay. Sorry. This is a problem. Because I cannot use HTTPS. If I use HTTPS, that was encrypted. Okay, so now I have this. SH. SH is a shell file. So I will change mode. I need to, because I want to execute this file. +X.
Basically, you open an 8000 port to upload the stuff, right?
I host this in my local server. Now my
I got it. You want to download something?
Yeah. So this is the victim machine. I download it from my host machine. Yeah. So this is the file I uploaded. I download it from the victim machine. Then I put the executing permission here. Then I just run it. Okay, so it will help me to extract all the sensitive information here. So I will have
Basically, it's more like a children.
not really, because the things you see here are all very simple basic commands, but I don't want to like run them one by one, you know. But also this script will help me to check something very, very interesting as well. But this is really basic, really experience based. I would say, yeah. For example, this one looks interesting to me. Seriously, maybe to you, maybe not. But this one to me is interesting because this user local bean is in front of user bean. Usually it's not like that. And yeah, you know, my life is very tough because I always need to look at these kind of things. There's another one. Yeah, basically you need to check them one by one. But for me, I know the answer already, so I will just pinpoint for you. Another one is so basically it's these two things. The first one is ID. The second one is echo. Okay. So these two are the interesting ones. Basically, first one, you need to know all this. This is really based on your experience. To me, this is not usual. So if I find this is weird, I will do some research. So I will just search for it. I think I've searched for it already. Where's the result?
So basically, you replicate a process when you're hacking some. But this is not your daily work, right?
I need to do this
for every server to check their robustness.
Because you see the file name is lin enum, so it's Linux enumeration. So as long as I need to do I need to get the information, I will use this. This is my favorite script. There's a lot of others. If it's a Windows one, you need to use another one. Yeah. System groups Linux. Yeah, it should be this one. Yeah, it's this one. So okay, so for the start group, just now I was very curious about start group. So here you can see something interesting. Allow user to add local modification to system user local without needing routing privilege. So which means I'm a user under this group, so I can modify the things in this group. Okay, and this, because this is the first one, it is before the user bean. The difference between user bean and user local bean, if you're interested, you can find online. But basically, when I was like running something like a bash, okay, when I was running something, or maybe uname, how does it know like this is uname? Because actually it will come together with this one, Then it actually, when you type uname, you are running a executable file. Then this is under user local bean uname. If the uname is not inside this file, it will go to this one. But now since I'm inside this group and I can edit this file, which means previously if that file can be run, some program inside can be run additional something additional. Even cprm delete, those kind of commands are inside these files. Yeah. So I'm inside this group, then I can modify the files inside. Then if I can modify some files with the root access, then and I run it, so I can get root access. So simply what I'm going to do is, by the way, before that I need to introduce something like a reverse shell. Yeah, this is the reverse shell cheat sheet. I never remember them. When I was forget, I usually come here. So for this one, if in the victim machine, right, you can always do this. Then this is, I set this to my own, and I set the port to 8081. So if I do a listener here, nc-ldnp8. If I do a listener here and I run this command, so I can get a share here. But because the guy who run this command is just JKR, so I get a JKR share back. Who am I? I'm still JKR. So if I can get some files with root access to run this kind of command, so here I expect to receive a root shell. Yeah. So I'm going to do something. Actually, I have prepared a solution. So this is a solution. Yeah, basically the command here is to, in the temp files, I will print a file. This is a file, create a file called uname. Uname is a executable inside the user local bin. But I have, because I'm inside the group stuff, I'm inside the group stuff, so I can modify it. So basically, I create file under temp. The first line is this. Second line is bin bash. Here, I will connect. This is my machine. I will connect to it 4444. Then also I put the executable access right to the uname, and later I copy it under the user local bin because I have the access right to this folder. So I'm going to run it. Copy, paste. Okay, done. So now I just want to run it in the uname. So far here, you will still see that this is Linux, and I.
You forgot to open the lesson.
No, it needs to be triggered in a special way. Yeah. So really depends on a lot of experience.
Shouldn't you run the NC? Suppose you NC command. Yeah.
Yeah, then this is a listener. Even I run it, it does not work. Yeah, but there's another way is I need to connect to it again. SSH. Yep. Almost there. So the password is rakj wrong password, sorry. rakj9. Okay, boom. So when this was connecting, right, it will run this uname. I need a system to run because even I was running it now, it was run by JKR. Yeah. So now I have the root access already. So boom, that's it. Yeah, that's but all these are specially designed, and the things you saw, like I present within half an hour, usually take people like 1 to 2 days to focus on it. Yeah.
It will be impressive if we can automate the whole process. Do you think it is possible?
Then how to say? Just now I show you something. I show you this. Control C. Yeah. Just now I show you this. Yeah. Actually, this one also have yeah. This is a tool for automation. It has a lot of. This is super powerful. When I was taking exam, this tool is banned because it is too powerful. So it can help you to scan, and then for all the scan result, all the vulnerability here will help you to try automatically. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I think it's a very impressive and interesting presentation. Despite this, not what I expected, but anyway, who knows? There's something interesting to explore it. And I also am familiar, so somehow we will have these tools. But what? Maybe you can keep going on. I will have my comment later.
Oh, okay, sure. So, I put the answer here. By right, I show PPT to animate it. So actually, in this step, I would like to say, now I was starting from here because all the environment is set already. So I can connect to their machine, and I know the machine IP. But in our daily life, this planning and reconnaissance, sometimes if this is a web box, this is a project, you have a vendor, then the vendor will tell you and help you set up. But if you are doing hacking, you're doing red teaming, you need to go in yourself, like try to phishing other people, or maybe try to phishing other people to run some like vulnerable script to gather all this kind of information. Yeah, and after, then just now you see after I have get root access already. So in order to maintain access, it should not be a problem. Maintain access can split into 2 parts. First one, you need to install some backdoor, some Trojan. So in the future, you don't need to go so many steps. You just need to, maybe you need to write a script and let it run like every second. So anytime you want to connect to it, then it can be connect automatically. Secondly, another thing is you need to clear all the logs because you did so many things. All these things are logged. So since you are like root already, so you it's better to clear all the logs. Yeah. If not, the system administrator might find you. Yeah, and block your access. Yeah, and also this is only one machine. Usually, you will always try to find the weakest point. Then after you find the weakest point, for example, just now I have like I have compromised one machine already, but that one machine might only be one of the domain. Yeah. So in the same network, maybe there are a lot of other machines like connect to the financial department, connect to the development department. Then you can from there you can go further. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Junbo. I think that's a very interesting demonstration to show how we hacked it. Despite it is partially hacked because we already know that server can be hacked. I think the more effort, in practice, more effort might be paid to find the vulnerable ones, right? So by the way, Junbo, based on your experience, whether it is common to find those vulnerable machines? There's common, or what about the number?
Sorry, you mean based on my work on
Yeah, based on your experience, for example, you first need to find the vulnerable server, right? The vulnerable servers.
Vulnerable server.
Oh, well, let me repeat. So my point is that the whole process is impressive, but it needs to be started with a vulnerable, with identification of a vulnerable server, right? So my question is that based on your experience or your daily work, whether it's common to find whether the number of the vulnerable servers is large on the internet.
Most of the web applications are vulnerable, and they are making using outdated. They are making using the outdated component. Yeah, web app. I see. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I cannot spell it wrong. Webalizer. Yeah. Okay, I can find it. So this is one of the simplest way I can find the vulnerability.
Okay, I also know this website. We once bought, but it needs to be paid, right?
Not really. This is
so for example, if we find maybe 100 or 500K websites using the WordPress, right? So it will just give the first 5,000 for free, but for the rest it has to pay.
Is it?
Yeah. So we once paid before.
Okay. Then I think that's how they make money, because usually I was only focusing on very limited number of the packet. Yeah, I will not handle like thousands or more than 100. Usually like 100 is the maximum already.
Okay.
Yeah, and yeah, actually the WordPress they keep on changing the number in their. I mean, since from the I think they put the number in the. Okay, they don't have already. Usually they put a number here, then from 42 all the way become 51, which means that more than half of the website used worldwide was built with WordPress. So there's a specific tool. I think it's called WordPress Scan. WordPress Scan. Then this one can help you to like at least find all the components, because this is so popular. So all the vulnerabilities has been digged. So as long as the version matches, even the theme or the plugin version is matches, then it will let you know that this is vulnerable. Yeah.
Okay, that's a very interesting talk. But usually what I want to do web testing is that so we want the user to click on the website to find something unexpected on the web application.
Unexpected means because we have two kind of tests. One is like find the bugs. Another one is find the vulnerabilities.
Yes, I mean, what I mean is that we find the vulnerabilities. For example, just like your benchmark, your master thesis. So we have 5 benchmark. We have a lot of vulnerabilities, including XSS, secret injection, etc. What I mean is that whether we have a testing tool or technique, web testing tool or technique, we can find those vulnerabilities automatically, just from a website point of view?
This is cannot do in one shot. For example, if you feel this entry point is vulnerable to SQL injection, then you can run SQL map against it. Yeah, that's what we do.
Okay. So basically, what I mean, yeah, I understand this is a very interesting, very impressive talk. But I just mentioned what my original intention. My old intention is that we would like to see, for example, how the Burp suite would run against a web applications, or maybe NetSpark, and how we run it on an arbitrary web applications, and what will they report, and what techniques will be applied. Maybe we can talk more in our individual meetings, but anyway, this talk is very interesting.
Yeah. I mean, for those automatic scanner tools, they have 3 modules. One is the crawler, one is the attacking module, another one is the analysis module. So of course, the first important one is the crawler. If we cannot find a page, of course you miss it. But yeah, I mean, I think that's the main difference between different kind of web scanner. Yeah, the crawler, the Burp crawler is very bad.
Okay, maybe you can talk more in your individual meetings. Okay, is there any question for Junbo? Okay, if there's no questions, so maybe we can call it a day for today's sessions. But we will still have arranged another rehearsal for Xiangling, because Xiangling need to give a QE presentation. So I think the students, if you are still interested to learn on Xiangling's research work, you can stay here. Otherwise, you feel free to leave. And then let's thanks again for the preparations made by Yufan and Junbo. Okay.
Yijie, thanks.
Oh, sorry, Yufan, Junbo, and Yijie. Yeah. Okay. So Xiangling will have a rehearsal.
Yes.